kind of ring is it? Are you an expert on what's...
I'm not an expert on one at all. I've been reliably informed it's a sapphire with some diamonds.
Well, I just hope I look after it.
She loses,
But no,
she's in big trouble.
it's very, very special.
Shocking discoveries have just rocked the royal palace today, as Princess Catherine has reportedly caught Queen Consort Camilla stealing Charlotte's inherited royal jewels. No one could believe this news, but the jewels were right there in Camilla's possession, and Camilla couldn't find a way to defend herself or explain what they were doing with her. This was a terrible situation, one that no one would wish for themselves, especially not Camilla, given her history with Princess Catherine. But how did Camilla find herself in this messy situation? Keep watching as we unveil the events that led to this shocking theft. Queen Camilla caught stealing Princess Charlotte's royal jewel. Stealing is a punishable offense under the law, but what happens when the Queen Consort of England, Camilla, is the one caught red-handed stealing an inherited royal jewel? Keep watching to find out. For about a year, insiders reported that Princess Catherine had been searching for some of her jewelry. Catherine seemed very bothered about it, as she reportedly wanted Charlotte to wear it for an important royal dinner. But she had to go with something else. When they returned from the event, Catherine looked around yet again, as she was certain the jewel was kept in her private collection drawer. Insiders reported that the search went on, but in the end, they let it go, as Prince William was hopeful they'd find it. Catherine, however, didn't want to let the jewel go, and at this point, everyone began to wonder how much jewelry could have been missing. It was later revealed that Charlotte's future royal jewel, meant to be handed to her on her 18th birthday, was stolen. But what was worse was that it wasn't just any ordinary jewel. It was one of Diana's timeless pieces, the original pearl choker. This was one of Diana's iconic statement pieces, given to her as an 18th birthday gift from her family, just like her sisters had received similar gifts during theirs. It was something that represented the pride of Diana's heritage and lineage as a Spencer. In addition to that, Diana wore the choker during her honeymoon in 1981. This was no ordinary royal jewel. It was a historic, timeless piece that told the story of Diana Spencer's identity and royal journey. The pearl choker was initially made with turquoise stones, but Diana had them replaced with pearls, as she was a lover of pearls. However, it was shocking to find that this jewel was gone, stolen right under Catherine's watch. Catherine was expected to care for these jewels as they belonged to her daughter. But what was worse was that it wasn't just the pearl choker that had gone missing. The Qatar pearl earrings were also missing. This royal jewel was a diamond floral cluster with pear-shaped pearls suspended from a diamond chain. It was also a unique, timeless piece that was given as a gift from the Emir of Qatar during Diana's official tour in 1986. These earrings were one of Diana's favorite earrings, which she wore on several occasions, like when she was pregnant with Prince William in 1981. She also wore them during her visits to Australia, Canada, Norway, and to several royal gala performances she attended during her lifetime, like the Royal Opera Gala. The last time the public saw Diana wearing the Qatar pearl earrings was during a private viewing of her dresses on auction at Christie's in aid of the AIDS Crisis Trust and the Royal Marsden Hospital Cancer Fund in June 1997, just a few months before her death. Ever since Diana wore this pearl set, they hadn't been worn since 1997 to date. This was because they were being preserved for Princess Charlotte. They were part of the royal heirloom vault, expected to be passed as a priceless legacy from generation to generation, preserving Diana's memory. But now, these two jewels are nowhere to be found. This left everyone with a question. Who would take these timeless pieces, and how did the person even get access to them? Catherine felt like she was a failure, careless, and irresponsible. This made her and William decide to take all of the remaining prized jewels in the house to a secure royal vault until they could figure out who was behind the theft. The staff who were also present in the house during their last official travel were also investigated. Palace watches reported that an insider said the Wales family didn't want the news of the missing royal jewels to get out, as they didn't want the media attention. But just when everyone seemed to have forgotten about it, something unexpected happened. It was during a private family lunch gathering in Buckingham Palace. Everyone was relaxed, talking and eating together, Prince William and his family were all present. Princess Anne and her children were also there. Queen Camilla's son was also present. Tom Parker Bowles was in attendance with his 2 children, while everyone waited for Camilla's daughter, Laura Lopes, to show up, as she had promised to attend. But she wasn't around. Notably, Prince Harry was also absent.
It happened a few weeks ago, earlier this month, here at our cottage.
Everything was going on well, and it seemed like a peaceful royal event, until a sudden twist threw everything off balance. About 30 minutes after they started eating, Camilla's daughter, Laura Lopes, walked in with her daughter, Eliza, smiling brightly. While everyone welcomed them, Catherine stood up suddenly. Her eyes had caught Lopez's earrings. They were the exact Qatar pearl jewels the Emir of Qatar had given to Diana, Princess Charlotte's missing royal jewels. Everyone looked at Catherine as she walked over to Lopez and pointed at the earrings, asking her where she had gotten them. Silence fell all over the room as Catherine looked at Camilla, and she shook her head in disbelief. She was unable to believe that it was Camilla who had taken the missing jewels during one of her visits to their house. But she did not just take them. She allegedly gave them to her daughter. Lopes tried to stand in, saying she had bought the earrings, but Catherine wasn't going to buy that. The women argued until King Charles asked them to all be quiet. King Charles said they were all going to sit down and have dinner normally, but William refused. Prince William said they should have an expert gemologist check if the earring was Diana's. He believed they would be able to confirm the truth through gem authentication and royal records, as the diamonds had a traceable pattern. However, Camilla was pissed. She said it was insulting that her children would come to the royal palace to have lunch, only to be accused of stealing. Lopes echoed her mother's words and said she was leaving. This moment was tense. Eyes darted from Catherine to Camilla, but the whales stood their ground. They didn't care about what anyone said, as what would be truly disrespectful was if one of Camilla's children were wearing Diana's jewels as if they were theirs. After several back-and-forth arguments, the gemologist was called, and the bombshell dropped. The earrings were confirmed to be Diana's original Qatar pearl jewels. Silence fell across the room.
I'm supposed to have my head down the loo for most of the day.
She did tell me that.
Everyone knew there was only one person who could have taken those from Catherine's house, Queen Camilla. The royal lunch ended badly as everyone made their way back to their homes. Insiders reported that there was an agreement to ensure no one said anything about that day. But as usual, the news still got out. Later that day, Diana's Qatar earring was returned alongside the missing pearl choker. Catherine, however, ensured they were kept at the royal vault, where they would be safe. But why would Camilla take Princess Charlotte's royal jewel? What was so special about them? Keep watching to find out. The legacy of royal jewels. Royals are known to possess unique, timeless jewelry pieces that are rich in history and often regarded as sacred heirlooms, passed from generation to generation and always kept within the family. For centuries, this tradition has been upheld. While these pieces may not remain exactly as they once were, they are usually modified to suit modern tastes or made more wearable for each new royal. Let's take a closer look at some of the iconic royal jewels that have been passed down through the years. The Queen Mary's Lover's Knot Tiara. This tiara was crafted in 1931 for Queen Mary. It was modeled after Princess Augusta of Hesse's Lover's Knot Tiara, which Queen Mary had long admired. Queen Mary wore this piece during formal court occasions, and upon her death in 1953, she passed it on. However, this tiara wasn't seen again until Queen Elizabeth II wore it during her early years as monarch. The Queen later allowed Princess Diana to wear it in the 1980s after she married Charles. Diana wore the Lover's Knot tiara on several occasions. Despite its heavy design, reportedly giving her headaches, it was still said to be one of her favorite tiaras. Following Diana's tragic death, the tiara wasn't seen publicly again until 18 years later, when Princess Catherine wore it at a royal reception in 2015, and again at a state banquet at Buckingham Palace in 2018. Still, The tiara wasn't gifted to Catherine. It remains part of the Queen's collection. Notably, only Catherine has worn it since Diana. Camilla has never been seen wearing this iconic piece. A similar pattern follows with Queen Mary's diamond bar choker bracelet. Originally designed as a bold choker but was later adapted into a bracelet. After Queen Mary's death, it was passed on to Queen Mother Elizabeth, who wore it for her 75th birthday in 1975. After her passing, the piece disappeared from the spotlight for a while until Catherine became part of the royal family. She has since been seen wearing the choker on multiple occasions, a subtle symbol of her place as a legitimate member of the royal household and a future queen. Another priceless royal jewel is the 4-row pearl choker, undeniably one of the most recognizable royal jewels. Worn by Queen Elizabeth, Princess Diana, and now Catherine, this iconic piece was a gift from the Japanese government and has been worn by these 3 women during some of their most memorable moments. But yet again, one can't help but notice Camilla has never worn this piece either. But the royal jewels don't end here. Next is the Queen Alexandra's wedding necklace. This elegant necklace was a wedding gift from King Edward VII to his bride, Princess Alexandra of Denmark. It was passed down to Queen Mother Elizabeth, who wore it frequently until she died in 2002. The necklace was then passed to Queen Elizabeth II.
Good evening, Your Majesty. Welcome to our Navy Club.
And remained out of public view for years, until Catherine wore it to the Dutch state banquet in 2018. Another unique royal jewel is Princess Catherine Middleton's wedding tiara, which is known as the Cartier Halo Tiara. This jewelry was originally purchased by King George VI for Queen Elizabeth, who then passed it to her daughter, Queen Elizabeth II, on her 18th birthday as a gift. The tiara is made of 739 brilliant cut diamonds and 149 baton diamonds, crafted by Cartier with elegance and precision. Another unique royal jewel in the British collection is the Prince Albert brooch. This is also a popular royal jewel known to be closely associated with the British royal family. It was first given to Queen Victoria by Prince Albert a day before their wedding. Queen Victoria loved the brooch so much that she wore it on her wedding dress the very next day. But she didn't stop there. She went on to make it a royal heirloom, writing in her will that the brooch was an heirloom of the crown, meaning that the piece should be worn by future queens. All 4 of the queens and queen consorts since, Queen Alexandra, Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth, and Queen Elizabeth II, have worn this brooch. The current monarch's daughter, Princess Anne, has also been known to wear a copy of the brooch. However, there are some speculations regarding Anne's version of the brooch. It was alleged that Princess Anne's brooch is a replica of Queen Victoria's, made by Prince Albert for his elder daughters. Next is the Queen Mary's diamond bandeau. As the name suggests, Queen Mary was the first to own it. But after her death, the bandeau was passed down to Queen Elizabeth II, who kept it in the royal vault for decades. It wasn't seen in public again until 2018, during Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wedding, when Meghan selected this gemless piece as her wedding tiara. Next is the maple leaf brooch, which King George V gave to his wife, Queen Elizabeth, to mark their 1939 state visit to Canada. It was also loaned to Queen Elizabeth II for her Canadian trip in 1951. It has also been lent to Camilla Parker Bowles and Kate Middleton.
Having been lucky enough to meet some of our country's amazing charities and organisations
for their respective visits to Canada. The brooch features a Canadian maple leaf design and stands out as a tribute to the Commonwealth country. While these royal jewels have been worn by royal members of the family, from Queen Mary to Queen Elizabeth to Princess Diana, and now Catherine, Camilla has noticeably not been seen wearing any of these iconic heirlooms except the maple leaf brooch. This is reportedly due to Camilla's complicated history within the royal family and how she once placed the monarchy at the center of several scandals that shook the institution. Away from Camilla, let's take a look at some of Diana's royal jewels, which she passed down to her children. Princess Diana's royal jewels. Princess Diana was known as a fashion icon during her lifetime. She set the pace for royal style, and there was hardly a time she appeared in public without jewelry. After her death, Diana's jewelry collection was passed on to her sons' wives. Well, let's take a look at some of Diana's most iconic royal pieces and how they've continued to live on through the next generation. Diana's Salon Sapphire engagement ring is perhaps one of the most iconic jewels in royal history. It was the very ring Charles used to propose to Princess Diana in 1981. The ring features a 12-carat oval-cut center sapphire encircled by 14 diamonds, all set in 18-carat white gold. It became one of Diana's most treasured pieces and remains one of the most recognized engagement rings in the world today. Years later, it was passed down to Kate Middleton. But that ring didn't go to Kate by chance. Insiders reveal that when both brothers were asked to pick something from their mother's jewelry collection, William chose her Cartier, while Harry picked the ring. However, in a touching act of brotherhood, Harry later gave the ring to William so he could propose to Kate. It was his way of allowing their mother to be part of William's future. That gesture made the proposal even more emotional, as if Diana were there, watching. But that wasn't the only personal treasure Diana left behind. One of Diana's more understated but meaningful pieces was the diamond tennis bracelet she wore during her final years. It was a gift from her close friend, Lucia Flecha de Lima. After Diana's passing, Prince Harry reportedly had 2 diamonds from that bracelet removed to create Meghan Markle's engagement ring. The Duchess of Sussex also inherited the bracelet itself, a piece filled with history, sentiment, and quiet elegance. Then came the Delhi Durbar choker, an heirloom filled with imperial grandeur. Adorned with diamonds and cabochon emeralds, the choker was originally given to Queen Mary in 1911 during the Delhi Durbar, a ceremony marking the coronation of the King and Queen of England as Emperor and Empress of India. Queen Mary later transformed the necklace into a choker and passed it to Queen Elizabeth II, who gifted it to Diana as a wedding present. It was more than a jewel, it was a symbol of royal legacy. Today, Kate Middleton is the one entrusted with this historic piece, and she's been seen wearing it on several royal occasions. But not all of Diana's treasures went to Kate. Meghan Markle also received some of Diana's deeply personal items, each chosen carefully to reflect Diana's style and memory. One of them is the Cartier Tank Française watch. Diana wore this watch in 1996. And in 2020, Meghan was seen wearing it publicly for the first time. It wasn't just a fashion statement, it was a connection to a woman she had never met, but respects deeply. And then there are Diana's earrings. Timeless, elegant, and heavy with history. The Collingwood pearl drop earrings were among Diana's oldest earrings. She famously wore them to a banquet for King Khalid of Saudi Arabia at Claridge's in June 1981, just before her wedding. These classic pearl and diamond earrings became part of her signature style. Today, they are reportedly owned by Kate Middleton, who wears them with the same quiet grace Diana once did. But if there was one jewel that symbolized Diana's strength and independence after heartbreak, it was the aquamarine cocktail ring. Set with a large emerald-cut aquamarine and 2 smaller diamonds on each side, the ring was created after her divorce from Prince Charles. Diana wore it on her engagement finger, a bold and powerful statement. In 2018, Meghan wore the same ring during the royal tour of New Zealand, wearing it not just as jewelry, but as a message that she too carries Diana's spirit. Through all these pieces, rings, watches, bracelets, chokers, and earrings, Diana continues to live on. Her jewels were more than beautiful ornaments. They were fragments of her story, her pain, her power, and her pride, passed down to her daughters-in-law. Even if she wasn't alive to see them wear those jewels, she's still a part of their lives and their legacies as they continue to honor her memory through their fashion, symbolism, and charity. However, for Camilla, things have always been different. Camilla is still seen by many as an outsider in the royal palace. Despite holding the title of Queen Consort alongside King Charles, she was never entrusted with most of the timeless royal jewelry passed from queen to queen. This isn't just about fashion, it's about legacy, and Camilla's absence from that legacy is no accident. Many believe it's because of her history, the way she forced herself into the royal family, and the scandals and criticism she brought along with her that tainted the image of the monarchy itself that led to this decision. Wondering why this harsh decision was made? Let's rewind to some of the unforgettable things Camilla had done, even before the latest accusation of her reportedly stealing Charlotte's inherited royal jewels. Camilla Parker Bowles, a woman who rose from being called the other woman, a mistress, and at one point even labeled a wicked woman, to becoming the Queen Consort of England. While her new role shocked many, Camilla's story inside the royal family doesn't come with grace. Her presence brought more pain than peace. Her involvement was marked by scandal, public outrage, and wounds that never fully healed. Camilla first met Charles in 1972. That meeting was a turning point in royal history, as she clung to Charles like a shadow, refusing to let go. Even after marrying Andrew Parker Bowles, Camilla continued her relationship with Charles. Even when Charles got married, she didn't stop loving Charles. Instead, she took Charles away from his family and took up the space that was meant for a wife. And she never stopped until Diana's marriage to Charles broke down. That collapse wasn't just a private heartbreak. It turned into a global scandal that placed the royal family at the center of criticism. But it didn't end there. Next, the infamous Tampongate scandal that nearly broke the monarchy. A leaked phone conversation between Camilla and Charles went viral, where he joked about wanting to live in her trousers and even said he wished to be reincarnated as her tampon. That moment humiliated the royal family like never before. The public was disgusted. The backlash was relentless. But even in the midst of that, Camilla clung tighter. She held on to Charles, and love refused to let go of him. Even after Diana's tragic death, Camilla didn't step back. Instead, she pushed harder, insisting on marriage. She and Charles pressured the Queen to accept their relationship, and in 2005, Camilla married Prince Charles. However, the media wrote displeasing stories about her. In an attempt to distract the media from her controversies, Camilla reportedly began leaking royal family stories to the press, shifting media attention away from her life. That tactic worked for a while, and over time, she slowly began to rebrand her image. Camilla appeared at more royal events, softened her tone in interviews, and played the long game of winning the public's favor. But no matter how many appearances she makes, no matter how polished her image becomes, history does not forget. Camilla is still remembered as the woman who stole Diana's husband, the woman who stepped over pain to wear a crown. So when reports surfaced that she had taken Charlotte's inherited jewels that once belonged to Diana, it didn't seem surprising to many. It felt like history repeating itself. A woman once accused of taking Diana's marriage is now accused of trying to take Diana's legacy. This added even more fuel to the already growing fire of distrust toward Camilla. For many, it confirmed what they had always suspected. Camilla has always been jealous of Diana's legacy, even in death. Why do you think Camilla reportedly stole Princess Charlotte's royal jewels? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.